Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, and I hope everybody are doing good. In the last couple of videos, we had discussed about GitLab. So, what can we do with the GitLab? How can we store our code into GitLab, and how can we write the CI/CD pipeline? We call it as a pipeline as a code. So, we had discussed all the components and keywords that are present in GitLab. Today, in this video, we are going to see, how we can sign in and sign up into GitLab, and later we can see what all components are present in GitLab root level, and later we'll discuss about what all components are present in project level. So let's not waste the time. Let's jump into the discussions. So this is the GitLab sign-in page. If you can't see it, so just go into Google www dot gitlab.com. This is a URL. Just hit enter on this and it will redirect to the page. Let me refresh it. Yeah, so it has opened. So this is a welcome page of GitLab, and I can see a bunch of recommendations and their implementation from GitLab, and those all integrations with the different kinds of sources and what all achievements they have done with the DevOps and DevSecOps. So yeah, if you want to start with the GitLab, so you just need to, you know, either you can go with the free trial version if you want to operate, or you can go with the sign in. And the sign in itself, it will go verify you whether you are a human or not. So you don't need to do anything. It will auto verify. You just need to click on this one, verify me as a human. Once it is done, it will ask you to sign in with your username and password. If you haven't registered yourself with the GitLab, so you can directly press on like register now, and it will, you can redirect to another page. You can give your what purpose you are creating this, like set up a new team and new personal account, or any other option. So you can give first name and last name, and you can give a username, whichever username you want to keep, and later you can give a email ID and password for register. So this is a common way to register with the GitLab. Or if you don't want to do that, if you have a Google account or GitHub or Bitbucket or Salesforce account or enable, so you can take advantage of those accounts. So you can use Google account to get authenticated and registered. And whenever you want to log in to GitLab, you can use a Google Authenticator for this. So this is how you can log in, and here you can provide your username and password. So already I have configured it, so I'm going to use the same username and password which I regularly used. So I'm just going in to sign in. So if I do sign in, like have protect myself, I have protected my account. So it send one verification code to my email ID, so I need to send the verification code, and then it get authenticated. So the code is 780656. So this is the verification code sent by the GitLab. So once I do sign in, so it will redirect me to the root level of GitLab. So you can see here, this is a root page of GitLab, or you can say home page of GitLab. So the home page, so we have the multiple components. So like if you see here, we have the projects, we have the groups, and we have issues, merge request, and all. So we will see what all components are present in homepage of GitLab, and we'll discuss each component level in a separate, discussion. But yeah, so first let's discuss about the project component. Here you can see here it is showing, hey, this is your work, and these all components are present. And before that, like this icon shows your display picture. It will show your username and what your name, and later if you want to set a status, you can use it. And if you want to edit profile and preferences and sign out, and if you want to use a switch to GitLab Next, which is the next feature with the GitLab, you can take advantage of that, and you can utilize all the features with the GitLab. You can play around. I don't want to explain this each and everything as detailedly. So it's a very piece of cake where you can go and get to know about it. But yeah, So the first component is projects. So since you are working in a project, so you'd like to create a project from scratch, like what regularly you do, you just go and create the new project. Accordingly, it will create the project. But if you don't want to do that, because GitLab is new for you, and you don't know what components and how you want to keep the folder structures and all, and how regularly other people use the best practices of GitLab, and what all components they do keep in the you know source code level or root level in a GitLab. So for that, getting information or looking into the other projects, so GitLab has amazing feature, like you can explore the projects internal of GitLab, whoever have kept their repository as a public, which means if you have created your repository as a public, so you can take advantage of that, and other person can see it, all the source code that you have kept in public uh, status. So we already discussed what is meant by public and repository and private repository. Again, I'm telling you, public repository can view by anybody, so they can look into that. They can look into the source code. They can look into the pipeline logs and all. But they cannot do any changes until he added into the project as a member. But yeah, so that's about the public repository. When it comes to private repository, so private repository thing, like apart from your team or team member who have onboarded as a member into the project, and other guys cannot see or access the repository, only the person who have authorized for the project, they can look into that. So that's the basic difference between public and private repositories. But yeah, so if you want to explore more about the GitLab, and if you want to look into the other repository how they are looking, so you can press on explore project, and you can see here, like almost started and trending. So we have a bunch of projects that are available, like these all projects were are available in a current GitLab, so you can take advantage of any repository. Let's click on this Alexander Chegiu. So it was edited by 7 months ago, and authorized 5 years ago. So this is a basic project, like we have some public and index.xml. So we have some index HTML code over here, and that's it. Like other than this, we don't have much things. And we have a CSS code also, which is empty file. And we have ignore.git ignore, which if you want to ignore some files to be pushed into remote repository, you can ignore it. But yeah, basic GitLab ca.yaml, where it shows like stages is deploy and mkdir public, and just they are copying it, and they are renaming it as a public, moving everything over here. And they specified artifact path, and later they wants to run the pipeline only on master. So that's how they just have taken a GitLab ca.yaml as a advantage. They have written a basic code. But yeah, it's incomplete, like even you cannot understand it, right? So let's go to another project, um, like Vishnu Prakash we have. But before that, let me take any. You can filter by the name. Like if you have any considerations, you can filter by the name, or you can look into the most started projects which are available over here. We have the bunch of projects are available, and if you see here, there is a project from MIT license, so which is the Phil Jones. So you can click on it. You can look their source code, and you can look there how they use folder structures, and how they are maintaining everything in the GitLab. So how they are keeping the source code into the structured manner, and you can take the advantage of looking into their GitLab c.yaml. So what all jobs and stages they have configured, and you can for studying for study purpose, you can look into their standards, so you can get to know, okay, so what all standards do we need to follow to keep your project more standardized as per the GitLab. So these all the things. But yeah, and if you want to look into any repository which are project which are trending, so you can go to the trending, and you can see, like these all projects are trending currently in a GitLab, and there are multiple folks had been happening across this GitLab repositories. And if you're more constrained about the languages, like my case, like I would like to implement everything on a Python. So I just go and click on Python. So it will bring all the Python applications over here, and you can take advantage of any one of the Python applications. So you can uh, you can look into the source code, and you'll get to know more information about it. So I want to get the Python repositories, all Python repositories. So that's why I'm just filtering it. And if I come down, which one is I have a file generator? Let me take this monitoring project, CO2 monitoring project. So it was implemented by Jan Bichau, which is a pushed 1 month ago. He committed 1 month ago, and this is his folder structure. So his intentions to filter the CO2, and this is the folder structure does look like. And you can take advantage of folder structure. You can take advantage of even code also. Like you can check in their code, you can download it, and if you're intending to do any other projects, so you can take advantage of it. So this is how, like, explore explore project. It's a great a feature in GitLab. Like, you can look into the others people public repositories. You'll get to know what all standards are available. So that's about explore projects usage. Or if you want to create a new project, so as already created for sample purpose, like I have been creating since a year, and I have been doing even since 2 days and 3 days for POCs and all. If you want to create a new project, so on a GitLab, you can just click on new project, and if you want to create a blank project, you can take advantage it. Or if you want to create it from template, and if you want to import from any other sources like GitHub or Bitbucket, any other source code management, and if you want to run a CI/CD for external repositories, you can take advantage of it. Which means, like, if your source code is on other source code management, which is a GitHub or Bitbucket, or so you can take advantage. Like, you can connect your GitLab with their source code, like configuring this run CI/CD for external repositories. So let's create the blank project first. We can explore other options, in a while. So I'm going to create one project called as a test hyphen project. So this is a project name I have given, and so it automatically appended my test project, so which is a test project under. And so so this is the GitHub URL, and if you have any project deployment target, you can specify it where you want to deploy it, like Heroku, or Kubernetes, or managed container runtime, like Fargate, or if you're using AWS, or if you have any virtual machines like AWS EC2 and app stores and registry infrastructure like Terraform, CloudFormation, you can take advantage of the deployment targets. You can use it. So if you don't want to use it, like, you can specify no deployment plan. And here the next one is a visibility level, like how you want to keep your repository. You want to keep a repository as a public or private. So if you keep as a private, nobody cannot access your repository unless you give access to them. Or if you want to keep this repository as public, and anybody can come and access your repository, they can clone your code, and they can look into your source code. So for first learning purpose, I'm keeping this repository as a public. So if you want to initialize any readme.file, you can initialize it and can create a project. So now it's taking time to create the project. Yeah, boom. So it has created a project. So you can see here we have the readme.me, which is you can specify about your project. So what is the usage of this project, and which stack it has been used. So how you can clone your project, and how we can collaborate with your other tools. So we can take advantage of this information, and you can just edit it up as per the requirement. If you see here, guys, like, when you create the project in GitLab, it automatically create the branch which is main, and it's saying there's a protected and default branch, which means, like, whenever you visit this repository, which is test project, so it will pop up, or it will show the main repository as a default one. And if you have any other preferences, you can specify it as the other branches as a default branches or protect branch. So that's all about the creating a project. Like, this minimal information, you can pass it, and later you can take advantage of it. You can push your existing source code, or you can clone the you can directly get the files over here also, guys. Like, you don't need to clone it. You can create it from the scratch. Like, you can go with the edit, and we have already discussed it. Like, you can take advantage of web IDE. You don't need to connect your Visual Studio Code or PyCharm from your local laptop to this GitLab. So you can take advantage of web IDE. It's similar, like, Visual Studio Code. And here you can add the files, and you can switch between the branches and all. So this is how you can take advantage of web IDE. And you can add the project, or if you want to add any files, like I would like to add a file called as a um, views.py, which is a Python file. So you can add it, and you can specify any information like print hello. So you can add this. And You can save it, like if you want to commit the your changes into your same repository which is a main branch. So currently I cannot do that because it's a protected branch. Or you can create a new branch. So I create a branch called as a test branch. If I press enter, it will automatically create a branch. And if it's saying that, hey, are you sure want to check out the test branch, or any unsaved changes will be lost, which means like whatever you have unsaved, it will be lost. So this is just a pop-up message. And if I say enter, so it will create a branch on the name of test branch, and my changes have been came into test branch. So if you want to switch in between the branches, you can come down, and here it will show you all the branches are listed into this project. So we have a main and we have a test. So if I go to test branch, if I want to switch a test branch, so test branch, so oh, come on. Yeah, so we have the readme file, okay, and then into test branch. So if I want to create a new file which is views.py, so I can create it. And if I want to print anything, so I just specify the print hello. And if I want to do commit, so what I can do, I can come here, I can commit over here, like uh, initial commit. So I can specify initial commit, and I can commit to the my test branch. So if I do commit to test branch, so it has committed to test branch. And if I come here, if I do refresh, the test branch has already created and the file has been appended. If you see here, test branch is available here. And if you see here, we have the views.py and readme.md. So this is how you can create a project, and you can append all the files if you want. Or else you already knew about, like how you can append the how we can append existing repository. So we have already seen, like these are the steps we need to follow. You can add the remote address into our existing project. You can initialize the git, and you can add all the files into staging area, and later you can switch to the branch. In our case, our branch is test branch. Here it's showing as a main. You can replace the values, and later you can push your code into the specified branch. So this is the basic information about creating projects and all. And let's get back to the homepage components. So we have discussed much about the creating a project, exploring the projects. Since we have been creating the project as independently, and these all the projects are independent. But if you want to, club project, if you want to group your project, so how can we do that? So we can take advantage of these groups as a components in GitLab. So you can take advantage of groups. You can create a group. Under group you can create multiple projects. So if you see here, like, you can come to the new project, new group. So you can take advantage of create group or import group. So if you want to create it from the scratch, you can create it. Or if you want to import a group from the any GitLab instances, you can take it. So before that, let's explore the groups. You can take advantage of exploring groups also. So these all the groups are available currently in the GitLab. So you can take any advantage, like let's create the integrate, or let's open this equivis. So this is openly available. So no subgroups or projects. So seems to be there is no groups available, no projects are available in that. Hotel bookings, yeah, we have the one project. This is the hotel booking is a project which was committed 12 minutes ago. And if we open this project, so we have the backend as a folder. If you go inside, we have the hotel, and we have the source src. And it was built in Java. So you can look into that main and Java, and you can look into the resources properties files. So you can look into their source code also, guys. Like this is how, like you can look into their source code and get much more information about it. So if I go back, if I go on groups, and so you can create a new group. So you can create it from scratch by click on create a group. So you just need to give some specifications. What is a group name? I can say that, like test hyphen group, and this is my group URL. And if you want to create this group as a private and public, so it will ask for both, for project and group. So you can take advantage of it. And so I am going to keep as a public. So how you want to give a role? So if you want to give a role as DevOps engineer, system engineer, we have the multiple roles. So since we are DevOps engineers or DevSecOps, so or I can give a security analyst as a your role. You can specify it. And who will be using this group, so you can specify like my company or team or just me. So in our case, if you're working on individual, you can specify as just me. And what will you use this group for? Like you can specify, like I want to learn the basics of Git, I want to move to repository GitLab from somewhere else. So you can specify what is the use case of your GitLab, and accordingly you can use it. So if I want to, if the reasons are not specified, you can specify as a different reason. And you can create a group. So if you press on create group, it will create a group. If you see here, the group has been created. If I go back and GitLab homepage, and if I go to the groups, I can see two groups has been created, which is test group and security. So I already have created few projects under security, which were DAST, SAST, and test projects. So just for references of myself. And if you want to create new projects under groups, what you can do, so you can go to test group, and you can create a, if you want, you can create a new subgroup under the same group, which is you can create another group under the same test group. Or if you don't want to have a subgroups, you can create a new projects over here, or else you can press on this new project. So anyway, it will redirect to the creation of new projects. So if you want to create it from blank, you can create this from the blank project. You can give this test project two. I can specify that name. And project deployments, we have already seen the target, and if you want to keep it public and private, that's up to you. You can create it and you can create the project. So this is how you can create the individual project as separately, or if you want to create it, or if you don't want to do that, you can create a separate group, and under you can keep all the projects under your group. So if you are working on multiple projects or all the projects, let's example you're working on team one and team two projects, and team one group has 10 projects, so you would like to keep all the projects under team one. So what you can do, you can create a group as a name of team one, and you can keep all the projects under team one. And if you don't want to do that, you can create all the projects as independently, but that's up to you how you want to customize GitLab. So that's all about groups and projects. So we had gone into multiple discussions and scenarios, like how you can create it. And we have issues, like if you want to create any issues, or if you want to discuss more about it, you can take advantage of it. Our next one is like merge requests. Since you are working on different branches and would like to merge your branches each other, so you can take advantage of merge request, and you can take the assigned on yourself, or review requests, so you can take advantage of it. So if somebody have added as a reviewer, you can take advantage of this one, and you can redirect to the merge request, and you can merge your, you can approve the codes. And we have a to-do list, so you can add the to-do list for your GitLab. So what all groups you have, we can take advantage of it, like it has already filtered. So we have two groups, one is security and test group. So you can create the to-do list over here, and accordingly you can act it. And milestone, so basically like in milestone is kind of things like where you can track the merge request, and different kinds of time, different kinds of fixed period, we can say that. So you can take advantage of milestones and create the different milestones for each um, merge request, and different merge request. And the next one is snippets. Snippet is kind of thing like we can store a piece of code, like a small amount of code, you can share it across your team members. So you can you can click on new snippet. So this is how we can create some piece of code. You can specify the what is the title of this and description. You can start writing the code over here, and you can commit into the create a snippet so code. This is how you can do that. And you can create another file also, if you want. If you have multiple files to be added, you can take advantage of it. So you can create up to 10 files. It's showing 3 out of 10. So add another file, 3 out of 10. You can create another file. It says 4 out of 10. So this is how we can create the small amount of code, and you can utilize it in your GitLab. And the next one is activity. So in the activity, it shows all the activities under this GitLab account. So what all changes you have done, what all commits you have done. So if you see here, we have created test group, and we have created a repository which is called a test group 2 under test group. So this is it showing as activity, which is 2 minutes ago. And we have created group called as test group 2 over here, and we have created project, and we pushed into this particular main repository. And if you see here, like we have done one changes or push to branch, which is test branch from the security test project. So we have done this in 70 minutes ago. And this is how, like, whatever activities you're done, like, on branch level, so it can track all the activities by coming in, taking advantage of this feature is activity. If you see here, it's been showing all the activities that I've done, which is since 2 years and sorry, 2 days. And it will show you up to last activity when you're done. If you see here, we have the activity which I've done 1 year ago. It has been showing all the activities over here. So you can track all the activities. You can look into that, and what all changes you have done, you just click on it, and it will redirect to the particular projects, and you can look into the changes or implementations. And the next one's workspace. Like, workspace is kind of things like, you can collaborate different platforms. Like, you can add different kind of tools for automation, development, and deployments kind of things. So this is about workspace and environments. Like, if you have, like, so if you want to mention, I mean, kind of status or pipelines alerts, or if you want to specify any kind of customization, or if you want to make any alerts, including the project or pipelines or any kind of implementation, you can take advantage of environments, and you can add the projects. And you can, even if you don't know how to add the project, so you can take advantage of view documentation. And the next is operations. So operation is kind of things like, in this dashboard you can specify the health checks of your projects, and you can create the alerts, kind of thing. So I can say that's kind of gatekeeper, where it go and watch your project health checks, and while you are working on a different customizations. And the next one is security. So in the security, we have the security dashboard, and we have the security report. So if you can download the security report as a vulnerability report, but you need to add some kind of features for this. Like, you just need to add the projects, and for that it's showing like it will take some kind of input from you, like how you can add the projects and all. So accordingly, you can add this. And the next one is settings. The same how it will work for the security. So you just need to add it. So if I go and search for projects, so let me search for tests. So if I press on tests, I think it may ask me to take a subscription. So unable to add the project, only project creator under the ultimate license. Yeah. So it's saying that, hey, you're not haven't taken any license. So if the projects have taken a license, it's only available for that features, which means, like, currently we are running on the community editions, not the enterprise. So that's why few features cannot be accessible through community edition. So if you want to take advantage of these features, so you need to take the licenses of your GitLab. So this is how, like, all the components you can use it. You can take advantage of all the components. And you can customize all your projects on GitLab homepage level, which is the main root level of your GitLab. And the next thing, so in the next video, we'll see how you can take advantage of GitLab projects components. So few components will be visible over there. Like, few components will be replicated into the project level of components. So we have seen all the components that are available on GitLab homepage or GitLab UI level. So that's all for this lecture, and thank you for watching. In the next video, we'll see what all components that are available in projects level, and we'll take advantage of it and discuss it. And later, we'll discuss about onboarding the how can integrate the GitLab runner. So we'll see how can write the GitLab pipeline from the scratch, and we'll implement the entire DevSecOps principle into the GitLab. So until then, see you later. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, and bye bye.